What if you were given a choice? Two choices between the red pill, blue pill scenario. With the red pill, you head off into danger, immediate danger. With the blue pill, it'll be dangerous, but nothing immediate. Just a slower, more hidden problem. Which would you choose? If one choice was running through a dark alley in a crime-infested city, not knowing what you'll meet, what'll happen. And the other choice was walking down a downtown area with shopping. But you had to eat something at every stop. Which would you choose? If you took the red pill, you would have to navigate through dangerous times, run the risk of getting shot, stabbed, physically accosted, whatever. If you took the blue pill, you wouldn't have any of that danger, but you would have to stop and eat at every shop along the way. Easy choice or not? So let's say you have an aversion to danger. You say, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to take my chances. I'm taking the blue pill. Besides, I'll enjoy this route. So you take that one and you find that what you had to eat at every stop was all junk. Soda pop, potato chips, hamburgers, fries. No fruits or vegetables, just the junk food. Would you still want to stay on that route? You'd rationalize and say, well, if I took the other route, I could be dead already, could be shot, anything. I think I'll stay here. Besides, this food is good. So if we all agree that you'll take the scenic route, the easy way out, the comfortable way out, the sweet way out. If you want to know how this story ends, stay tuned. Hello, this is Dr. Raymond Edison, MD, your digital doctor, admitting you to the channel where we show you how to take charge of your health. Welcome if it's your first time. Welcome back if you've been with us before. Thanks to those who've purchased my book that accompanies this video series. As mythical and ridiculous as this story is, many people accustomed to unhealthy eating habits behave as if they'll die if they change. It's like it's an internal sophisticated excuse system that justifies no action or no motivation to change. It reminds me of a patient once, years ago, I had who was an alcoholic. I'd been on him constantly about stopping drinking. I was walking out the office one day, and there he was passing by. Smelt the alcohol before I saw him. And as I walked by, I again reminded him, you've got to stop drinking. And his reply was different and surprising. He said to me, Doc, I have friends who stopped drinking, and they died. He said, I'm afraid to stop because I might die. I thought to myself, how convoluted is that thinking? Then I told him, if you don't stop, you will die. Long story short, sadly, he didn't stop, and he did die. You might say, that was an alcoholic. he was battling his addiction. What does that have to do with me? Well, nutrient-poor food loaded with salt and sugar is also an addiction. These foods are convenient, they're quick, they taste good, and they help you out in a rush in this fast-paced world we live in. So the attraction to them is compelling. They advertise them on TV all the time. So, and you usually don't experience the bad effects for months in some cases, sometimes many years. So the damage done is not immediately noticeable. They give you this false sense of satisfaction because you eat more of them and stretch your stomach, and the sugar gives you that sugar high, if you will. So it seems like everything's fine. Weight gain can be one of the first signs that there's a problem, but not always. Autoimmune disorders and leaky gut syndrome doesn't necessarily involve weight gain. So normal weight doesn't mean that you don't have problems brewing. Unfortunately, eating healthy food can be expensive, and many people live in food deserts, which adds to the degree of difficulty. These challenges aren't trivial, and this affects by far the most vulnerable of our population. Even more damaging is the lack of knowledge that these things are not good for you. Hey, they look good, they smell good, they taste good, you feel satisfied even though it's false. What's the problem? So you get accustomed to calorie-dense, nutrient-poor foods. And dietary habits handed down from previous generations don't always help, because these days people have a lower level of activity. They probably don't get sleep like they used to because of the rush society we live in. The addition in the food source of high fructose corn syrup, which wasn't there before the 70s, and other chemicals and things that make the Twinkies last for 100 years, are all compounding factors that keep people in that unhealthy mode. When someone falls and breaks a limb, it's not difficult to convince them that you need some help and you need some help now. It's a different scenario trying to convince a middle-aged woman with no symptoms who gained 5 pounds that she needs to start making changes. She feels fine. And now even that same person, a couple years later, who's gained 30 pounds now, and her hemoglobin A1C went from 5.9 to 9.5, but she still has no symptoms, even though she's headed to serious problems. So the point I'm making is that you can't wait for symptoms to make changes. You know, by the time symptoms appear, you're probably close to, if not behind the 8 ball. And I know we're only accustomed to taking action when something bothers us. Most people these days, they may come to get a checkup. A lot do, but a lot also only come when they have a problem. I'm having headaches, I'm having stress, and I can't sleep, etc., etc. And that's the way it's done. But you have to be proactive when it comes to chronic diseases, and you have to take charge, as we say in the book. What would you do if there was a small mouse you saw in your place of business or your house? Would you just ignore it and say, oh, he ran away, maybe he'll go away? And then you look around and you see those little turds all over the place, and now you see 5 or 6 of them when you turn the lights on and come in. Would you wait till then to call pest control? Or if you saw a small leak in your ceiling, just a little drop here and now and then. Oh, that's only a small drop, not a big deal. Would you wait until you got to put buckets all over the floor because of the holes from the leak. Oh, now I need to take care of the problem. That's how our health system is set up. Oh, I'm fine, I feel good, even though I'm eating junk, I'm all good until I have an ache or a pain. Or even worse, high blood pressure runs in your family, but you never check yours. And then finally one day you get sick, don't feel well, and they check it and it's sky high, and you have chronic renal disease from kidney damage over the years, secondary to the high blood pressure. So sometimes you have to cook most of your meals at home. And in future videos, we'll give you tips on how to do that and how not to make it boring. And the fact that you don't have to rely on it 100%. But you need to make those changes to ensure that you get nutrient-filled foods. So what happened to the victim in our story? After a few years of living in fear, eating bad food because he thought he would die if he stopped, gaining about 75 pounds, being miserable, finally decided to take action, lost his fear, educated himself with a certain book, took action, and started living healthy. He became the master of his fate and lived happily ever after. He realized his fearful experience was a bad dream, but his years of unhealthy living was a real nightmare. This story was fictional, a fictional account of events. Any similarities to persons real or imagined is strictly coincidental, except for you. If you want a happy ending, take charge of your health and get on the right track. Friends, sometimes a corny example like the one above can bring a little humor to a serious issue. Thanks for your indulgence. Don't worry, I won't quit my day job. Don't forget to put up the likes and the comments and subscribe so you can be notified when future videos come out. This is Dr. Edison, your digital doctor, signing off. And for now, you're discharged.